First revealed in 2014 with a release planned for a year later, Dead Island 2 has had a long road to get here. After changing studios a few times and going quiet for years, there's plenty of reason to be skeptical of how it would turn out in the end. However, despite all its setbacks, Dead Island 2 runs well, looks great, and gives you lots of weapons and skills to tear the flesh off undead carcasses in style.
Word to the wise, kid. If you're gonna fight these things with grenades, don't do it in your own home.
While Dead Island 2 does have a prominent story to lead you from one famous LA location to the next, it's lighthearted and tongue-in-cheek. Whether you're assisting a retired movie star, a rocker in his underwear, or a content creator filming your gruesome kills for clicks, generally, most folks aren't taking the zombie apocalypse all that seriously.
Let them bodies hit the floor! And no swearing in the first minute. I'm already on 2 strikes.
The latter chapters do introduce some compelling threads of lore to pull on, but even those largely serve as devices to introduce you to new powers and enemy types. Some bits do connect to the earlier Dead Island games, but you really don't have to worry about catching up. There's enough here to enjoy the ride and connect with some likable characters, but you're never so emotionally invested as to mourn anyone's inevitable death.
She always likes surprises.
As for you, you play as one of 6 different survivors after a plane crash. Each protagonist has their own stat differences and skill perks, but arguably the most important factor is personality. While you might be a fan of Carla's energy, Danny's Irish accent, or Jacob's smooth, helpful demeanor, you might also find any one of them to be too cheesy for your tastes as well. So it's worth running the intro a couple times to see whose voice you want to have in your ear for the next 30 to 40 hours. And if you want to run multiple characters for any reason, there are extra save slots to swap quickly between them.
What? I can't hear you. I got blood coming out of my ears.
Well, what are we going to do?
One of the strongest aspects of Dead Island 2 is its level design. It doesn't feature a broad open world, but has several dense, sprawling levels in iconic locations around LA, like Bel Air, Venice Beach, and a major movie studio. It isn't trying to offer a one-to-one map of specific intersections, but it does an excellent job of capturing the look and feel of every neighborhood it recreates. Not only that, but every house you search through is meticulously and uniquely designed, portraying very strong and distinct reflections of the people that live there. And this is even true of smaller spaces like different actors' trailers in the studio lot. There's lots of room to explore, do side quests, and search for new weapons and resources. Many of the locations feel like something out of Deus Ex or Dishonored, with various entry points and hidden areas to find. However, it can be easy to get frustrated running in circles as you look for ways into places you can't access until later. Some doors and chests simply can't be opened until a specific quest takes you there, or you unlock a new zombie type holding the keys. At first, it's not clear that you'll be making return trips, but once you unlock fast travel, side quests routinely have you popping back to old haunts, and you can save a lot of it for after you finish the main story. Furthermore, you never fully clear out an area, as zombies keep crawling out of bushes and holes, and common crafting resources respawn, so there's always something to smash and grab. While much of Dead Island 2 is bright and colorful with zombie shredding tools in abundance, you do travel through some dark, unsettling places too. Even though the game never takes anything away from you, it does an effective job of slowing the pace and putting you on edge as you shine your flashlight around corners, anxious about what might pop out. Combat in Dead Island 2 is utterly brutal, rendered in gruesome detail. Eyes pop out of sockets, jaws dangle after getting snapped in half, bones stick out of severed limbs, flames sear flesh, and acid melt skin. It's a total bloodbath, but what makes it work so well is that it all serves gameplay. If you're dealing with a runner, chop off its legs. If a big crusher is smashing the ground, cripple its arms. And if you see a zombie in riot gear, look for any appendage that isn't covered. Environmental hazards also play into this mix. Water can be used to electrocute, oil spreads fire, and alarms draw enemies from all directions. Similarly, different zombie attacks harm others around them, so it's all about using everything at your disposal to keep on top of things. Melee weapons are your primary tool. You get a lot to play with and modify. For much of the game, it feels like you're constantly finding new weapons you haven't seen before. including hammers, swords, axes, spiked baseball bats, flaming pitchforks, and crazy claws that slash with devastating speed. Guns don't even get introduced until the game's second half, letting you become adept with melee weapons first. But there's similar variety with rifles, shotguns, and even nail guns. Plus, there are some unique weapons hiding out that only come from completing certain quests. Once you've got a weapon and some resources, there are all sorts of ways to modify it, with options expanding continually as you progress. You can make a weapon more effective at severing limbs or knocking enemies backwards, or you can add fire or electrical components. Some modifications have trade-offs, like increasing power at the expense of speed, but there's a lot to experiment with. Higher level weapons come with more mod slots or certain modifications already attached, increasing the ability to stack and combine effects.
Somebody there?
Oh, fuck off!
Managing inventory is certainly a downside to the abundance, as is constantly scavenging for junk to craft with. You can only carry 16 weapons with you and another 16 in storage, which is plenty to work with, but you come across so much that you have to regularly make decisions about what to sell or break down for parts. Thankfully, a bit of relief comes from the fact that you don't have to grab everything you see, since unclaimed items are left in a separate box to sort out later. As you progress, you unlock various skills as well as slots to equip those skills in different categories. The top line of skills is really about creating a moveset, choosing between a block or a dodge, for instance, or picking a ground pound versus a dash strike. Other skill slots have more to do with additive effects. You can add a shockwave to push enemies back every time you heal, increase attack speed after maiming zombies, heal from counterattacks, etc. Flaming drop kicks? Yes, please. There are definitely times when the action can get a bit samey, but overall, Dead Island 2 does a really good job of introducing new abilities, weapons, and modifiers at a good pace. New enemy types keep coming too, so even once you've acquired Fury mode, you can start ripping zombies apart with your bare hands. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. While the game is fully playable on your own, you can also join up with one or two others after the introduction. Co-op progression is solidly thought through as your progress is saved, whether you're the host or if you've joined someone else's game. There are just small edge cases when you can lose short bits of progress if you go back and forth between modes midway through a quest. But otherwise, any story quests, side quests, or collectibles you take care of all carry back to your solo game. With the physics sending all the bodies and limbs flying, things can definitely get a little more chaotic with additional players. But even with a stranger, it helps to divide and conquer, having one person take the focus from a big monster, while another thins out the crowd or attacks from behind. You can split up to find secrets the other person hasn't spotted, and there's a handy emote wheel to communicate across language barriers.
Do you see what I see?
While there's already been a lot of praise for the fleshy battle damage, it's worth noting that Dead Island 2 looks really good overall. There's some great main character designs, and even the random undead are quite varied, with one of our favorites being the Swarm Walkers, who have whole beehives growing out of their chests. On PS5, performance runs at a smooth 60 frames per second in single player, with small dips during co-op that aren't bad enough to get in the way. The biggest visual downside is purely aesthetic, but the mirrors look truly awful. Not only does your character not show up in them, but the flat copies of rooms on display aren't convincing at all. While it may have been a little corny to smash them all, the game has so many oversized mirrors, it's hard not to notice the faked reflections. On the surface, Dead Island 2 is certainly all about slicing up zombies without a lot of emotional stakes, but there's a notable attention to depth and detail that's evident throughout. The sense of impact as weapons crack bone and send bodies flying entices you to keep tinkering with abilities, to go back for side quests after the story's done, and to consider giving it another run with friends. Zombies have splashed down in LA. Grab a hammer and get to work. Final score, 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching our review. We're Easy Allies. We've been writing about games for decades, and we also do podcasts, streams, shows, and more, all funded by regular viewers just like you. Head to patreon.com/easyallies to pitch in and get rewards. And be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay connected on YouTube. See you soon.